My ghost story from when my ex and I explored a graveyard. Back when I was still in high school, I think it was during my junior year, I was dating this girl who was a year or two below me. We'll call her May. We had been dating for about 2 months or so, and we were both into the paranormal and the unexplained. So one night, May and I decided to go out to the graveyard down the road from her house. She used to live in one of those apartment complexes which were side by side, 2 connecting apartments for each building. It was also in the ghetto area of my hometown. It was about 6 p.m., so right before the sun set, May and I had decided to start at the opposite end of the graveyard, and we would work our way back to the side that was closest to her house. Her house wasn't right next to it or anything, it was actually a couple blocks down the road. But we're in the graveyard reading the headstones and exploring the plots and all that. I think we were somewhere around 45 minutes into our exploration and had decided to look at one last spot. It was the corner closest to the exit, which was closest to her house. It was a pretty fancy plot with cream-colored headstones and a flagpole right in the center of it, with the American flag flying up at the top. It might have been a veteran burial ground or something, but nonetheless, May and I checked it out for a minute or so and decided to leave towards the gate, which was about 30 yards from the plot we came from the left. I turned around to have one last look as we were walking and holding hands, because something was grabbing my attention to the area from the moment I saw the plot. Plus, I thought it was cool looking. I stopped dead in my tracks. My eyes got so big, and I jumped out of my skin and squeezed May's hand. I saw what looked like an actual ghost that you see in movies like Ghostbusters or The Frighteners, with a blue aura around it. It almost looked like an angel or something, but I didn't have my glasses on, so I didn't really get to see much details. All I know is it looked humanoid and was floating above one of the graves, just staring at us. May noticed that I was looking at something, and she definitely felt the tension on her hand as I was squeezing it, so she asked me what's wrong. I then asked her, "What the heck is that?" She turned to look and she squeezed my hand even harder. I hadn't taken my gaze off the thing, and I had blinked a couple times to make sure I wasn't just seeing things. I indeed was not, because now she saw it too. The thing then launched right at us, and my heart leapt out of my chest. May then turned around and pulled me towards the gate, which we were a few yards away from. When she pulled me, she had sort of jerked me out of my trance, and I turned my head forward as to not trip on something and bust my butt. We booked it out of there, but I took another look behind us before we jumped over the gate, and the thing was about where we were standing before we started running. I turned back to May, and we ran as fast as I can remember running in my life. There was a road right outside the gate, and in order to get back to her house, we had to pass by that plot on our side of the fence, because that's the direction we had to go. As we passed, I took one last look and saw nothing. We made it back and didn't really have anything happen to us after that. I haven't seen anything like that since. One of the scariest moments of my life. I think about it at least 3 times a week.